Hope in Shadows, Chapter 18, The Oncoming Storm, by Stephen Little. My Little Pony and all associated characters are copyright by Hasbro. "Well then, soldier, how goes the day?" asked a familiar human woman with curly blonde hair. "River, what are you doing here?" Julian asked in shock at seeing her. "What, I can't visit my husband at random, unpredictable times?" she asked with a smile. "You know what I mean," he said, a little irritation in his voice. "If you're asking if I'm still in the library's database, then yes. I'm still there, but I'm here also. Have you ever tried connecting a Time Lady?" "Time Lord," he corrected. "I know you are not a lady." "Duchess, then. Yes, I think I like the sound of that. Either way, have you ever tried hooking a Time Duchess's brain up to the universe's largest hard drive with access to every book ever written? Long story short, I'm in two places at once, or at least my mind is, so take that, laws of physics." Julian smiled in spite of himself. "So that brings me back to why you're here, in this place again," she said, spreading her arms in the wide-open military hangar they stood in, point of light glowing in the darkness. "I don't know." "Oh, yes, you do. Demon's Run is the scene of your greatest triumph and your greatest failure, and now it's happening all over again," she said. "It's different this time. It's not about me." "Isn't it, sweetie?" "They took your children, your wife," she said with a small chuckle. "What?" "Sorry, it's just a pony? Really? I know Captain Harkness would bet down with anything that had a gender, but—" "Don't you dare disparage Ditzy!" the stallion shouted. River just smiled at him. "You're not really here, are you?" "Well, that would depend on your definition of here. It could be the real Dr. River song reaching out to your mind from across time and space, or I could just be a construct of your mind here to smack some sense into you. It's hard to tell, really, but then you already know the answer, don't you, sweetie?" "The real River song would never bring me back to this place," Julian said. "Oh, but you misunderstand. I didn't bring you here. You brought yourself here. Either way, you're right. I'm not her. To be more exact, I'm your memory of her manipulated into a construct to help you with your current problem. And while we've been talking, I've had a chance to wander around in your memories." Julian visibly swallowed. "Ah, yes, well, about that." "Don't be too embarrassed, dear. I think it's cute, really." She could see the earliest signs of shame start to appear on his face. "I understand, really I do. My body is dead, only my mind is left, and you did nothing wrong. I'm happy you found someone, or some pony that makes you happy, but that's not important at the moment. Right now we have to deal with the problem at hand. I'm sorry, my dear, but you can be so melodramatic. You take so much upon your shoulders. Not everything is about you." "But you just said—" "Oh, sorry, that was just me talking," a man said, stepping out of the shadows, a man that looked exactly like Julian's ninth incarnation. There before him stood himself, many, many years ago, tall, short black hair, leather jacket, and a northern accent. "And who are you supposed to be?" Julian asked. "Well, you could say I'm your persecution complex, but that would be just plain stupid. Let me put it to you this way. You find yourself faced with a problem and you don't know how to solve it. When you need to have an intelligent conversation, who better to speak with than yourself, eh?" "All right, then. What am I supposed to do? I don't have the TARDIS." "You have your friends. This is what we're trying to get you to understand," a multitude of voices said, as one by one every incarnation of himself came out of the shadows. "No matter where you are, no matter how bad things got, you've always had your friends," they said in unison. River stepped out in front of the crowd and took the stallion's face in her hands. "Dearest, your friends are in this with you, and are just as determined to get their loved ones back. Do what you do so well. Inspire people, ponies, to be the best they can be. Now go and be magnificent." Julian slowly woke to find Soren gently shaking him. "Come on, lazy bones, time to get up." The chestnut stallion gradually sat up, rubbing the sleep from his eyes. "Sorry, Soren, I haven't been sleeping well without Ditzy. Has Brayburn arrived yet?" he asked. "Yeah," the Pegasus said, "along with the griffin, 2 dragons, and 2 ponies. Tell me, did one of the ponies have green eyes?" "Yeah, the stallion has weird-looking eyes like that. He told me that you have called him here to settle an old debt." "Indeed. Let's get going then. Our loved ones are waiting for us," the chestnut stallion said as he walked out the door of the castle guest room he was using. "You mean to go after them now?" Soren asked in disbelief, galloping after Julian. Julian stopped abruptly, causing the blue Pegasus to crash into him. Turning around, the earth pony looked Soren in the eyes. "My dear boy, some pony is holding my wife and children hostage. I have no intention of letting another sun rise without my family by my side." "Easy there, Julian. I want to have my son back as badly as you. We all want our families back. But nothing will come from bumbling into the situation unprepared. We need a plan." "I have a plan. Come on, we'll discuss it with the others over breakfast," Julian encouraged. As Julian and Soren approached the grand dining hall, Twilight came bursting through the doors, slamming them behind her and scaring the door guards half to death. "Good morning, Princess. Is everything all right?" Julian asked. That griffin!" she shouted. "Ah, I take it then that you've met Gertrude?" the chestnut stallion asked. "Do you know she keeps a pony as a slave?" she demanded. "Princess Twilight, I can assure you that Penelope is not her slave. Not for some time now, anyway," Julian informed her. "Now come on, let's go back in and remain civil. I have a lot to discuss with all of you." "So she used to be her slave, now she's just her servant? Well, that makes everything better, doesn't it?" the Lavender Alicorn said sarcastically. "Princess, I know things are stressful for you right now. It's the same for all of us, but please believe me when I tell you that nothing untoward is going on between them. Their story is complicated, and we don't have the time to go into that right now. Not if we want our families back," Julian said, trying to calm her down. "Please, Princess, turn a blind eye to it for now. I will explain everything in due time." Back in the dining room, many of the parents of the stolen children milled about, trying to eat a meal while waiting for news from the foal-nappers. Octavia, Bonbon, and Lyra were trying to console a sobbing Vinyl, while Shining Armor and Cadence were deep in conference with Celestia and Luna. Rainbow Dash, Applejack, and Pinkie Pie, and Fluttershy cautiously walked up to the golden-furred mare that was preparing a plate for herself and Gertrude. Hello? I'm sorry about the way Twilight acted. Please don't be offended," Fluttershy asked. "Yeah, Twilight's just worried about the kids gone. We all are," Applejack said. "Even our husbands are stressed out right now. Caramel over there wants to take the vermins on by himself. They all do, and I don't blame them one bit." "Normally we like meeting new ponies, we really do. It's just with everything," Rainbow Dash said, her voice trailing off. Pinkie was unusually quiet. "Oh, that's okay," Penelope said with a small smile on her face, unfazed by the emotional outburst a few minutes earlier. "She's royalty, that's just the way they are. You can't blame some pony for being who they are, no more than I can stop serving my mistress. It's just who we are." "So, you are her slave?" Fluttershy asked in shock. "Oh, no, I mean I used to be. Her father bought me when I was a foal to be a playmate for her. For a while she treated me like one of her toys, as children are wont to do. But after a while we started to grow very close. We were inseparable for so long, the best of friends, even if she still owned me. We went everywhere together, and after a while other griffins started to say bad things about the mistress. I met a griffin named Gilda once. She wasn't very nice to me, so I understand a little of what you went through," Fluttershy said, trying to identify the pony. "Please, do not mention that loathsome hen to me. She said many vile things to me and the mistress before my mistress soundly disciplined her," Penelope said, before seeing the shocked look on the yellow Pegasus's face. "Apologies, I did not mean to lose my temper. Either way, those bullies said that she was using me as a bad toy, and how it was disgusting how close we were. That's when Mistress stood up in front of a whole crowd and shouted that she loved me. She got hurt very badly. Her father, the master, beat me and blamed me for what happened. He sold me to a labor farm 2 provinces away. I was so sad without the mistress that the master of the farm had me disciplined harshly every day for not pulling as much weight as the others. Fluttershy and Rainbow Dash could see the sadness in her amber-flecked green eyes. "I'm sorry. That must have been horrible," the yellow Pegasus said, placing a hoof on Penelope's shoulder. "Yes, it was. I was there for a week when the mistress came for me with the doctor and Ditzy. They saved me and set me free, all the slaves from the work farm. They took the mistress and me in their blue box to a new place where ponies and griffins and dragons and all manner of creatures lived together peacefully. I think you call it Trottingham. The doctor told me that he brought us hundreds of years in the future. I didn't believe him at first. Then I saw how much things had changed. The mistress freed me too. She told me that in this new place she would not have me as her property." "Then why didn't you leave? I mean, it's a big world. Wouldn't you want to see it?" Rainbow Dash asked. "Oh, I could never do that. I love the mistress, and the mistress loves me. I could never leave her side." Penelope looked down to her hoofs, and upon seeing the half-filled plate, she remembered why she was there in the first place. "Oh, I'm terribly sorry, but I must get the mistress's meal for her. Please excuse me," she said as she finished filling the plate from the buffet and galloped back to the griffin sitting at the long dining table with the plate balanced delicately on her head. "That was kinda weird," Dash said. "I don't know, Rainbow. I mean, she said she was from the past. Things were a lot different back then, and if this is all she's ever known, that I guess it sort of makes sense. After all, she looks happy enough," Fluttershy said as she watched Penelope sitting dutifully next to her mistress. The golden-furred pony had a happy smile on her face as she faced her mistress to eat, every now and then being offered food from the griffin's plate, which she enthusiastically accepted. Julian walked into the dining room with Soren and Twilight in tow. The chestnut stallion saw a brief glance of abhorrence pass between the princess and the griffin before they caught Julian watching both of them with an irritated scowl. "Both of you, behave yourselves. Penelope, I'll kindly ask that you keep Gertrude on a short leash for a while," Julian requested. The griffin snickered while Penelope blushed wildly. "Ah, Buford, how are you doing? Wife and kids okay?" "Just fine," he said, his green-on-green eyes shifting about the room. "Good, good. I promise not to keep you away from them too long. Don't want that appetite flaring up on you," the chestnut stallion said with a smirk. "Sure, but you don't mind? It's getting a bit uncomfortable holding this shape." "By all means, let your hair down," Julian said. Without further ado, the red stallion with black hair disappeared in a flash to be replaced with a fairly large male changeling. "Every pony I'll explain later, but Buford is a friend and no longer dangerous to anyone. You have my word on that." "Do you really have a wife and kids?" Cadence asked. "Yes. And before you ask, they are not changelings. My wife is a wonderful mare, and she and her son know exactly what I am. I love them both, and the love I get in return keeps me more than sustained. Look, no holes," he said, holding up both his front hoofs. "This is much nicer system than the old way. I'm glad the doctor helped me find it." "You're welcome, Buford, but it's just Julian now." Soren had been speaking to his wife only a moment when she sped over and practically tackled the chestnut stallion. "Soren says that you know how to get our kids back," she shouted. "What are you waiting for? Tell us already!" "Please calm yourself. Everything will be fine, and if all goes by plan, this time tomorrow our families will be back at home, and you princesses won't have to abide the throne," Julian reassured them all. Looking around, he spotted Emerald and a large black sky dragon sitting next to her. "Emerald, did you and Onyxian deliver my message to Mr. Magnet?"
"Sure did, Jules. Now stop stalling and tell me how we're going to get my brother and all the others back," Emerald asked, trying to control her anger.
"In a minute, Emerald. I'm being brilliant." Julian said as he finished building a molecular model of a graviton out of melon balls on the table. Now, I've been talking to princesses most of the night, and I'm still a bit tired, but try to keep up. Here's how it stands. Some crazy pony has our families, and from what we've learned from our dear friend Wildcard, he means to use them as bargaining chip to take over the country and bring about a sexual revolution to put stallions on top and mares bare hoof and pregnant in the kitchen.
We all know that. Get on with it, Caramel insisted.
I'm getting there, Julian said. Anyway, this impossible idiot thinks he can get us through our loved ones. Someone tried that with me before.
Who was that?
Braeburn asked. It doesn't matter. They didn't last long after I found them. Now back to the matter at Hoof. They gave us a week, but we are going today. And why? We are going because I want my wife and children back. We are going because we cannot allow our families to be used as a bargaining chip. And most importantly, we are going now, Julian shouted, then quickly lowered his voice. We are going now because I don't know how much longer Applebloom is going to be able to keep her hoofs off of her husband.
What? They got my sister too?
Applejack shouted. No, Applejack. I sent her in disguise with 3 other guards to arrest Dr. Sawbones for treason, but when Twilight and I went to check on her, she was gone along with Sawbones and Dawn. Sticking out from under her brother's pillow, I found a note explaining that Dawn was already gone and they followed to make sure nothing happened to her or the others, Luna explained. This gives us a unique opportunity. We have friendly forces embedded inside this organization, and once they know we're coming, they can help us from the inside, or at least make sure nothing happens to the children, Celestia added.
So what are we waiting for? Julian asked. From this day to the ending of the world, but we in it shall be remembered. We few, we happy few, we band of ponies, for whom today that shed their blood with me shall be my brother. Be they ne'er so vile, this day shall gentle their condition. And gentle colts in Canterlot, now abed, shall think themselves accursed. They were not there, and— Hold, no, wait, that's Henry the Fifth.
The other ponies and 2 dragons in the room gave him an odd look.
Julian, what are you talking about?
Big Macintosh asked. Nothing, forget it. Soren, I'm going to need you to gather every male member of the Wonderbolts and get them together with all the male Pegasi members of the Lunar and Solar Guards, Julian explained before being interrupted.
Now wait 1 bucking minute, Vinyl and Lyra shouted in unison.
Why only stallions? We mares have just as much say in this. They're our kids too, Octavia shouted. I mean no disrespect, ladies. Of course you will be coming with us. All of us will be going to rescue our families, Julian told them. These enemies think that stallions should be on top and decide all matters in this country, and there's only one way to fight that kind of bigotry, with stallions who have sworn themselves to the true rulers of this land, the princesses.
But still, mares can fight every bit as good as a stallion, Applejack argued.
I would say better in some cases, Julian replied, but in the field of battle is covered in mares, all they'll see is the object of their resentment.
I get it. So while the guards are fighting the rank and file, Rainbow Dash started,
the rest of us will be free to take on the leader of this misguided group and free our families, Princess Luna finished. Princesses, with your permission, I'll muster the castle stallions immediately, Prince Shining Armor stated as he saluted to the 4 regal mares in front of him. And with your permission, I will lead them into battle.
You can count on us too,
Caramel said, Soren, Big Macintosh and Braeburn nodding in agreement. Shining? Princess Cadence and Twilight asked together. Cadence, Twilight, I'm a soldier. I always have been and I always will be, regardless of whatever title I hold. Right now our troops need a leader, and while Applebloom is gone, they need some pony they can trust. So be it. Prince Shining Armor muster the troops and be ready to travel within 2 hours, Prince Celestia said. Julian, go with him and be sure that every pony understands their part. Yes, your majesty, Julian said with a bow. I will go and recruit the stallions from Canterlot and meet you all back here in 1 hour, Luna told them all. As you wish, Your Majesty, Shining Armor said. I shall await your return before briefing our troops. Before Shining Armor could leave, Twilight and Cadance hugged him tightly. Be careful, Shiny, Twilight said. I will, Twily. You be careful too, and when you see your nephew, tell him I'll see him soon. Is everything all right, my dear sister? Celestia asked her. Yes, dear, but something still puzzles me about something Wildcard said last night during our little discussion. He said that Blueblood's forces had infiltrated into the ranks of our guards at the highest level, and you know what that means. We still don't know it was him. The stallions had a rough life. It's not fair to assume it's Blueblood. Come now, sister. Who else could it have been? From Wildcard's description, it could only be Blueblood. I think sometimes that you're too forgiving of that stallion. You remember what he tried to do to Rarity and Spike? That stallion is so egoistical that if he ever did bed a mare, he'd scream his own name while he is in the throes of passion. I know, Luna, she said, trying to hide a smile at her sister's last comment. I can't help it. I feel partially responsible for him since I watched him grow from just a little foal into what he is today, and I did nothing to stop this. I understand, but remember, you had other responsibilities, not just the country, not just Twilight, but also that little bundle of joy that you raised into one of the most wonderful of loving member of our family. You can't hold yourself responsible for the misguided actions of others, Luna said, trying to cheer up her sister. Now I must go. We need more troops for the assault, and I don't want that traitor running free to warn his master of our plans. The early morning was going as well as could be expected for 2 Pegasus guards at the royal castle in Canterlot. Things are sure quiet since the princess has moved out, Gust said to his partner. I know what you mean, but I heard a rumor that one of Princess Luna's children might be moving in once they've grown tired of living with their parents, Twister said. Well, having one mother is bad enough. I don't know how Prince Dusk can deal with being mothered by 2. 10 bits says the prince is the one moving in, Gusty said. Deal. That should make the general happy. Before either of the ponies had time to chuckle at their own comments, a bright flash of light announced the arrival of Princess Luna. I can assure you that the young prince will stay or go of his own volition. Where he goes is his own choice, she said, freezing each of the stallions with a glare. Captain Gusty, I am surprised a stallion of your advanced years would wager on such a thing. You are supposed to be an example for the younger recruits. I wish I could speak on this longer, but there are more important things that at Hoof at the moment silently gather all the male guards in the barracks and send the mares out to replace all positions. I need a word with all the stallion guards, including the Luna Corps. One more thing. Do not alert the general to this. I will notify him myself. Is he in his office presently? She asked. Yes, Your Majesty, Twister announced. He always spends the first few hours of the morning there doing paperwork, he says. Very well, you are dismissed, she told them with a wave of her hoof. The journey to General Stormwing's office was not a long one, but Luna still grew slightly nervous as she approached the door. She had known the stallion for years, and the thought of his betrayal weighed heavily on her mind. Knocking firmly at the door, she waited for him to answer with bated breath. Who is it? You wet behind the ear folds know better than to disturb me while I'm working, he hollered as he whipped the door open. I did not realize you valued your paperwork so much, Luna said. Please follow me to the barracks. There is something important I need to announce to the guards, and I'd like you there. Yes, Your Majesty, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to yell at you. Things have been difficult lately. Is that why I smell rum on your breath? She asked as they walked. Again, I apologize. The news of the foal napping of the young prince and princess have hit us all very hard. I failed in my job, and I fell on some old habits. Please forgive me. Princess Luna did all she could to control her emotions. I was not aware that news of the foal nappings had reached Canterlot by now. Please, General, do not blame yourself. It was Major Filigree's responsibility to oversee the castle's security, and she has been dealt with for her failure. Now, please, my news for the guards concerns the recent events at the royal residence, and I think you will find most interesting. General Stormwing quickly hid the half-smile he was wearing and bowed head to the princess. I'm sure I will. It did not take long for the two ponies to reach the guard barracks, and being a gentle colt, the general held the door open for the princess. Walking in, they both trotted toward the front of the room, with every stallion guard there waiting cautiously for their news they were gathered for. Stepping up to the podium at the head of the room, the general addressed all those in attendance.
"All right, you bunch of lollygaggers. Quiet down and listen up. The princess has an announcement concerning some recent events at the royal residence."
The stallions became ominously silent as the general stepped aside and stood patiently for the princess to make the announcement of the promotion he was sure to get. It never came. Without warning, Luna pushed the general into the crowd.
"Arrest that stallion for treason!"
she hollered. The Solar Guards were stunned, but the stallions of the Lunar Corps obeyed their princess without question.
"What's the meaning of this?"
the former general demanded.
"You made a mistake when you mentioned the full napping of my children. No pony knew of that outside of the castle staff. The only way you could have known is if you were in on it," she accused.
The air was swiftly filled of questions. The guards in attendance could not believe that the royal twins had been full-napped.
"How could this happen, Princess?"
Gusty asked. "I'm sorry to say that our ranks have been infiltrated by traitors to the crown, and others were simply turned against us," she said, looking at Stormwing.
"What was it? What were you promised that would make you turn against us? What would they possibly have offered you?"
"Nothing. They offered me nothing but the promise that Applebloom would be humiliated, ridiculed, and thoroughly dishonored for her ineptness, and it worked. After being held in the cells and removed from command, no pony will trust her to lead again," he shouted back at the princess. Before Luna could say anything, the members of the Lunar Corps in attendance quickly surrounded Stormwing.
"You betrayed the princess for your own ego?"
one of her lunar stallions, Ebon Mane, asked, showing a bit of his pointed teeth. "Stallions, calm down," she shouted, trying to get their attention. "Ebon Mane, escort Stormwing to the cells and make sure the guards there do not listen to his lies. My brave soldiers, it is not only my children, but those of the Elements of Harmony and many others. My own nephew is being held captive."
"Prince Blueblood?"
one of the Solar Stallions inquired. "No, it is our belief that Blueblood is the pony behind this plot," she said, gaining a gasp from the guards before her. "I have another nephew, Celestia's son, that has been kept secret due to complicated issues. Somehow Blueblood found out about it and abducted him, his wife and their children. Many children are being held captive at the moment, but we have a plan of action. You will all be coming with me back to the royal residence, where Prince Shining Armor will inform you of your part in our plan to save our families and the future of the country." Things were not going well for Spike. Covered in numerous wounds and lacerations, the miserable dragon had lost most of his right ear and had a soiled rag that covered empty sockets that once held his missing left eye. The halter around his muzzle had been removed and replaced with an amber steel choker around the base of his neck, that effectively cutting off his access to either of his fire glands. Having the halter removed from his snout made it easier for Spike to talk, which was exactly what Blueblood wanted. A white hoof struck the dragon's face for what he felt like the 100th time. "I grow wary of this, dragon. It's clear to me that your friends will try to mount some kind of rescue attempt, and I need to be ready. You've lived with the princesses and the Elements of Harmony all your life. You must know of a weakness," the white stallion demanded, his voice straining to remain calm and even.
"You're not getting anything out of me, you worthless piece of shit!"
Spike yelled.
"Tell me!"
Blueblood shouted, punching Spike in the face yet again.
"It will not happen,"
the dragon growled. "For the last time, tell me what I want to know."
"Death first!"
Spike shouted before spitting a wad of blood and palgum in the unicorn's face. Blueblood wiped the crimson spittle with a handkerchief, then threw it at Spike's feet. "So be it, dragon. You bring this upon yourself," he said before exiting the cell and slamming the door behind him. Outside the cell, Sky sat, waiting for him. "So, how's it going?" the dark grey stallion asked with a jovial lit in his eyes. The would-be king shot the stallion a look that would kill if were possible. "Oh, come on, you know what it's going to take to get the information you want. Why don't you do it?" Mostly because I doubt your ability to restrain yourself, the white stallion told him. Just let me have another crack at him. Fine, Skies, Blueblood said with a sigh. I don't care how you do it. I don't care how long it takes. I want that information. My pleasure, your kingship. Skies, I have business upstairs with those two idiots that nearly ruined everything. I want our captives to know what happens to ponies who disobey me. Tell a guard to come get me in the holding room should you need anything. A pity I can't watch, Skies said with a smile. Skies, I may need the dragon later. No killing, dismembering or maiming. Is that clear? Blueblood asked as he mounted the stairs. Yes, your majesty. I have other ways of making him talk. While Blueblood was trying to writing information out of Spike, his other captives were finishing the meager breakfast they were supplied with. That was the worst oatmeal I've ever tasted, Scootaloo said aloud. Be happy they fed us at all, Tootsie Flute told her. The mare nudged the dark-furred alicorn sitting next to her. Dusk, Dinky is laying there by herself, and she hasn't touched her food at all. Something's bothering her, and I think it has something to do with your sister. Why don't we go talk to her and find out what's going on? Tootsie, now is hardly the time to play matchmaker, Dusk whispered to her in response. I know that, dummy, but look at her, she said in a low voice. How can you know how miserable she is and not do anything? The purple alicorn sighed. I suppose you're right. I just don't like the idea of getting involved in my sister's affairs. Reminds me too much of my parents, he said as he and his mare friend walked over to the forlorn unicorn. Hey, Dinky, how's it going over there? I mean, besides the obvious, Tootsie Flute asked. Fine, was all she said. Come on, Dinky. Things can't be that bad. You haven't even eaten your food, Dusk said, trying to cheer her up. You can have it if you want, she said, sliding the bowl towards him without the slightest hint of emotion. Dinky? Mom? The grey unicorn asked as her mother lay down beside her with the new foal nestled on her back between her wings. Dinky, what's wrong? I hate to see you like this. Please talk to me, Ditsy implored her. I don't want to talk about it right now, she said, turning her head away from her mother. While Dusk, Tootsie Flute and Ditsy were trying to comfort the lost unicorn, Jato, Garnet and Honey were trying their best to keep control of Sunchaser and Toffee. Melody and Aiden were off talking in a corner. I wonder what those two are talking about, Jato said. Ow, Toffee, that's my wing you're standing on. Chaser, please stop trying to climb on my back. I'm not a jungle gym, Honey told the young Pegasus. I don't know. From what I heard, she and him talked about wedding. I guess they figured if this was as good a time as any to talk again. I'm sure that if we were somewhere else, Melody would have no other complaints, Garnet said with a slight chuckle. Will you two be okay with the kids while I go talk to my mom and sisters? Yeah, we'll be okay. They're just restless, Honey said. Good. You two could use the practice, Garnet said as he walked over to where his mother was lying, nursing his baby sister. On the bed next to her was Princess Dawn. Sweetie Belle and Scootaloo sat in between the beds, having a small discussion amongst themselves. How can you say that? I'm sure Dinky still loves you, Sweetie Belle told the young princess. You weren't there. You didn't see the way she looked at me, the things she said, Dawn told them, trying not to break down. Then why don't you tell us what happened, from the beginning if you don't mind, Garnet said, sitting down next to the princess's bed. The four mares gave him a weird look. What? I'm the sheriff. Problem-solving is what I do. Well, if you think it will help, she said, as four heads nodded back at her. Okay, then, I guess it started the other night. Dinky was finishing up her work in the grand dining room, and I wanted to surprise her. I found this amazing pair of midnight blue socks that I just knew Dinky would love, so I put them on and waited for her on her bed. Then she came in, took one look at me, and told me to leave. What? That's it? She didn't say anything else? Just get out? Rarity asked. Before Dawn could answer, Applebloom had walked behind her bed and started pushing it towards the group of ponies, talking to Dinky, the bed's wheels giving out a small squeak as they rolled. Major, what are you doing? Dawn asked her in shock. You don't need to be talking to Rarity and her kids about this. You need to be talking to Dinky, she told him matter-of-factly. I know from experience that it doesn't help anything to hide your feelings. You and Dinky need to talk, and that's exactly what you're going to do." Dusk, Tootsie Flute, and Ditzy quickly moved out of the way as Dawn's bed was wheeled next top them. Apple Bloom gave Dinky a light kick to get her attention. "Come on, Dinky, sit up." The grey mare didn't move. Apple Bloom walked around the bed and physically picked her up and sat her next to the bed, facing the princess. "Okay, you two, this is the only time I'm going to say this. You two need to talk about this, and both of you need to listen. Dawn, you and me have had some issues, and I can understand why you don't trust me, but that's not the point. I've known Dinky for a long time, and I know she's not the kind of mare to fly off the handle without reason." "But—" Dinky tried to argue, but Apple Bloom was having none of that. The yellow mare put a hoof on her friend's shoulder. "Talk to her," she told the forlorn mare. "Dinky, you are one of the smartest mares I know, but in a lot of ways you're pretty dumb. Trust me, I know that from experience too. Just talk to her, tell her how you feel, and most importantly, don't let her get away," she said as she walked away from the couple, ushering the others away. "So, do you really think this will work?" Garnet asked his wife. "I'm not sure, but it's for the best. No good will come of talking to others and not the pony that really matters. I learned that lesson the hard way. I cannot bear to see my friends make the same mistake I did," she told her husband before resuming her post by the door. The multitude of ponies tried to appear like they were focused on something else, but all of them were secretly watching the pair on the other side of the room. It took a while, but before long the two depressed mares started talking. Straining their ears, they tried to listen in. "I just wanted to say," they both started to say at the same time. "Sorry, you go first," Dawn offered. "Why were you in my room wearing those things?" the grey unicorn asked. "I wanted to look pretty for you. I wanted to share something special with you that night. You gave me so much, I wanted to give something back to you." Dinky could only shake her head. "Of all the—" "Dawn, what I did never has to be repaid. To put in those terms only cheapens what was done. I gave you my leg because something I did caused you to get hurt. It was my mistake to fix, and I did what I needed to do, but nothing more than that. I did it because I love you, Dawn." "Then why did you yell at me and throw me out of your room? If you love me, then why don't you let me share that love with you?" the young princess asked. "Because I don't want you to feel trapped or obligated to be in a relationship with me. You're still young. There's a whole world out there that you haven't seen. I don't want you settling for me when there's so much more for you to see." "I'm not a child anymore, Dinky. Please don't talk to me like one," Dawn told her, her voice rising slightly. "You may not be a child anymore, but you're still acting like one. What was I supposed to think when I saw you sprawled out on my bed wearing your mother's socks of all things? What did you expect to happen? Did you think I was going to hop into bed with you?" "Well, yeah, I did," she said sheepishly. "And that's exactly what I'm talking about. Did you ever think for 1 second that I might be having a hard time with all this? Too many ponies. A relationship between us is wrong on more than one level, and there are few ponies out there that have no problem at all expressing this. It's hard for me, okay? I love you, and I want to be with you, but not until I'm sure that you're picking me because you honestly want me." "But I do want you, Dinky. There's no other pony out there for me," Dawn said, trying to convince her. "How do you know?" the grey unicorn practically shouted. "You've only seen Ponyville or Canterlot." "I've seen the entirety of this country, and one day I'll see the whole of the world. I've seen the good, the bad, and the horrible," Dawn told her. "I'm not the timid little princess you think I am. I've seen things that any pony should have seen. I've done things that no pony should do." Dusk walked up behind his sister and placed a comforting hoof on her shoulder. "Go ahead, Dawn. You can tell her. I don't mind." "Tell me what?" Dinky asked, confused. I'm... Dawn looked into the face of the pony she loved and softly said what her heart had been screaming for so long. "I'm the Alicorn of life. I'm the pony of birth and renewal." "What? I don't get it. What is that supposed to mean? Do you give life to ponies?" she asked in a mixture of confusion and anger. "No, I cannot bestow life where none exists. All I do is blow on the embers of life to heal and sometimes help those into the world that are too weak to make it by themselves. Melody was the first pony I ever helped when she was born. She was so weak. I was visiting with my parents, and while they were out of the room, I got closer to the chirp. Before I knew what was happening, I felt a tug at my own energy and watched as it flowed into her. It was only for an instant, but it seems that was all it took. Shortly after that she got better, almost overnight. The doctors couldn't explain it, and I knew that it was me that helped her. Ever since then I've helped where I could. Sometimes I could help. Other times Dusk got there before I did. But that would mean—
"He's the Alicorn of Death," Blueblood said, interrupting the grey mare.
"How did you know?" Dusk asked. "I've been keeping tabs on you and your family for a very long time, and that includes that little anonymous trip you and your sister take," Blueblood told the young prince. "Wildcard, I see you've been keeping a close eye on your guests."
"I didn't see any harm in letting them talk amongst themselves, especially with the other 3 guards spread around the room."
"Very good. Have they said anything that can be of use?" he asked.
"Not that I can tell. Mostly the conversation has been between the filly foolers in the corner," Applebloom told him.
"I see. Oh well, good job keeping an eye on things here, but right now I think I'd like to have a little chat with our guests," Blueblood said as he entered the room.
"What do you mean, Uncle?" Aiden asked, stepping between Melody and the white unicorn.
"Nothing much, my dear nephew. I merely came with a simple proposition for you, for all of you. It can't be much fun being cooped up in this room all the time, and to be honest, I'd be willing to let you all free reign the castle."
"What's your angle, Blueblood?" Garnet asked, incredibly suspicious of the stallion.
"I have no ulterior motive. All I ask is that you denounce the princesses and swear your loyalty to me. That's not so much to ask, is it?"
"I'll never betray my family,"
Dusk shouted. "And neither will we," Melody said, stepping up next to Aiden. "It makes no difference to me, but be warned, there are always consequences for one's actions, and while we're on that subject, I think it's only fair that you should know what happens to those who disobey me, or, in your case, trying to disrupt my plans," Blueblood said with an evil grin. "Freestone, bring them in," he shouted to the next room. The aforementioned light orange stallion and another grey Pegasus wheeled in 2 ponies strapped down to wheelchairs. Both Earth ponies, one was orange and the other was white, but they both bore a bag on their heads. Reaching up, Freestone whipped the hoods off the heads of the condemned. The captive ponies in the room gasped in shock when they saw Dr. Sawbones and Charger strapped into the chairs. "You see, these 2 ponies were in my employ for some time now, but both betrayed me by either their selfishness or their stupidity. This one managed to do both," he said, indicating Charger.
"Your Majesty, I never—" the orange stallion tried to say.
"Silence, Cure," Blueblood commanded. "You were not sent to keep an eye on these ponies, not to satisfy your own disguising tendencies. Jato, if you swear your loyalty to me, I'll let you do whatever you want to the stallion. His life will be yours, to do with as you please."
"No," the young Pegasus stated firmly. "He's stuck in the chair forever, and from what I heard, he can't hurt any pony ever again. So what's the point?"
Both Dawn and Dusk could feel something horrible about to happen. Dawn jumped off her bed and gathered the 4 children in the room to her. Turning her back to the gloating prince, she enveloped the children with her wings just in time. Walking outside of the room and outside of the magic dampening field, Blueblood's horn began to glow. "You're too soft, Jato. Ponies like Charger deserve no less than what they dish out." As soon as they finished speaking, a spike of stone erupted from the ground, impaling the unfortunate stallion. The act was so sudden, Charger didn't have time to scream before the spike erupted from the top of his head, ending his life and splattering most of his head's contents across the ceiling. Dusk felt a painful cramp in the pit of his stomach. Spattered with gore, Dr. Sawbones begged for his life.
"Please, Your Majesty, it was an accident. I did what you ordered. It's not my fault the wrong pony ate the poison."
Maybe I should forgive you for this one. I don't know. What do you think, Princess Dawn? It was you to be sterilized with his accident after all, he asked as the bloody spike retracted back into the floor and Charger's corpse as wheeled out of the room. "You're lying!" Dinky shouted. "How can you stand there saying such a horrible thing?" Dawn looked down at the folds she held huddled in front of her. She looked into their scared faces and could feel the tears rolling down her own features. "He's not lying," she said softly. "What?" Dinky asked. "Dawn, sweetheart, you can't believe anything he says." "No, Dinky, I know it's true. I can feel it," she said quietly, trying as hard as she could to control her emotions. "Ironic, isn't it? The pony of life, patron alicorn of birth, renewal, foals and mothers, never able to have the former or be the later," Blueblood said, enjoying the unbearable tension of the moment. "So what's it going to be, Princess? Does he live or does he receive his just punishment?" "Killing the doctor will not reverse what has happened. His death would be meaningless and serve no purpose," the princess said sadly. "I disagree," said his horn flaring to life. Before any pony could stop it, a funnel appeared in the doctor's mouth, and a bottle of liquid lye began pouring into the funnel and down his throat.